All right, hi and welcome everyone. I know that we're a little bit late, but today we have a special guest with us. He's on the Great Walk for the homeless, as you can see him right there. This is Homeless Entrepreneur. So I want to say hi and welcome. This is just a random live that we were going to do, and so we decided to do it today. So homeless entrepreneur, come on, tell us about the Great Walk, what it is, why you're doing it. Give us the details because my audience is not familiar with this very much.
Just really appreciate how you support the homeless community. And I'm going to let Toby, who's the director of the Great Walk, explain a little bit about the Great Walk. So, Toby, go ahead.
Hi everyone, it's a pleasure to speak to the audience of Tuck. Tuck is an amazing guy. He has the same pleasure than we do, and that's walking. And he also works for a purpose, and we walk for a purpose. We walk 1 million steps across Europe for 1 million homeless people in Europe. And that's not the end. There is millions of people in Europe at the risk of homelessness. Families in the beautiful countryside of Austria in small villages are one paycheck away to lose their home due to increased rents, and that means they're going to end up homeless sooner or later, unfortunately. And this is why we walk, as we need a change in the homeless system, not just in Europe, all over the world. And that's why it's called the Great Walk. We walk for everyone that needs the support, and Tuck can tell you more about our support.
Thank you guys for definitely doing this. And so what inspired this? Like, and how long have you guys been doing this?
A friend in Canada, he walked across Canada in 18 months to raise $1 million Canadian to help end homelessness in his country. His name's Joe Roberts, and I thought, hey, why don't we do that? But I was thinking walking from Barcelona to the World Economic Forum in Davos would make me homeless again. So I was like, let's reduce it. And I took a number, which is 150 million, which is recognized by the World Economic Forum. How many homeless people exist? Obviously, I think the number is much larger, but it's the official number, and we have to use official numbers with what we do. So then we started to walk 2 years ago, January 2024, and we walked from Zurich to Davos to the World Economic Forum, 150 kilometers in 5 days for 150 million homeless people. We've done it from Orleans to Paris for the Summer Olympics last summer. Then we did it again in Switzerland, and a team member did it in Aconcagua, which is Argentina. Unfortunately, he wasn't able to finish because he had issues with his blood oxygen level, and he had to get air vac'd in a helicopter. Thank goodness we used Global Rescue to help him with that. And this walk is the fifth one. It's amazing. We're meeting so many people. Today's the last day of stage one in Austria. Then we have a heat aid campaign to raise awareness for homeless people suffering from the heat. And I don't know if you know, Tuck, but in Europe, 90% of the weather-related deaths are related to heat. So this is yeah. So if you think about it, there's normally, and probably in the States, some kind of policy to help homeless people when it's too cold, but it doesn't exist when it's too hot. So we're walking to raise awareness in Austria, Germany, Belgium, Holland, and Spain.
Stations, because I think in Florida they have cooling stations for like the homeless, especially in Orlando.
Under a tree. That's the cooling stations that they have.
Our ancestors used to do it. Why can't the homeless?
Within their house and AC and a fan and all that other stuff. So I'm sure if they were in the street, they would understand. And keep in mind, the only time homeless people get a break from the heat is when there's a terrible thunderstorm or rain, and then it's impossible to move around. There's less mobility, less people in the street, less money moving, and it's worse. So the only break they get from the heat is when they can't speak with people, and it's wet and rainy, and then it gets even hotter afterwards. So weather obviously affects the homeless community more than people that have housing.
I always thought that the weather related fatalities would be more around the cold because that's usually when I would hear stories of people waking up and turning blue. You know,
To rich people, right? Skiing, people getting lost on trails, right? And then obviously people with substance abuse issues, and they can't recognize the cold, but people just they don't highlight it as much in summer. Also, probably because people are on vacation, they don't want to hear about it.
As in Cincinnati, it got hot. The homeless generally have a place to hang out. There in Europe, don't they have the ability to get inside, go to the library, and sit in AC and maybe even learn a skill or two?
For the most part, it's not adequate, and a lot of the organizations that help homeless people make them do a lot of time doing activities that are completely irrelevant to getting back on their feet. So it's, for example, some organizations, religious ones, for example, they have to listen to the word of God before they get food, right? So they literally are thinking, okay, do I listen to this or do I, steal some fruit from the fruit store, kind of thing? So, or beg for money. So I think the system that exists is a bit challenging for people, and also, as having to ask for something because you can't pay for it yourself. It's a challenge for your ego, your dignity, and so many things. So I think it's important for people to be able to contribute what they receive.
Yeah, most definitely. And so, like, how many different countries are you walking through, and how hard was it to set that up?
Right. So it's a lot of preparation. We start in Austria. We go through Germany, Netherlands, Belgium. We drive through France, and we walk from Bilbao to Madrid in Spain. So we're walking through 5 countries, driving. Well, driving. We have a safety car this time, and this is the first time, and it's actually extremely helpful. And we're also camping because it's not about staying in like a 5-star hotel when we go around fine dining. And a lot of people, as you know, in the States live in tents, right? So for us, it's also a way to have a base in between the places that we're going because we want to lower the costs as much as possible. So all the funding that we raise is used to help people in our program get back on their feet.
That are new to this?
People call from all over the world to look for unidentified resources. If we recognize some, we will give them advice and suggestions on how to connect with them. Then the next program is called the Voices program, where they tell their story. So they're the protagonists, as they should be, and they say their first name, their location, their current situation, and what they need to improve their life. And then the third program is called the Help program, as you know. And what that does is it helps people through coaching and network support and guidance. So that way people can become active working citizens again. So anywhere from professional development, education, health, housing, finance, legal, communication, sales, and a mentor, really depending on what people need and what they want too, because it's not about us telling people what they have to do. It's about understanding where they'd like to go and how we can accompany them in the process. You were talented and what you were doing was something I respected. But it's gone through a lot, right? You were on trail and then you were in Arizona and got some small property, right? And relaxing. And then now you're in another state and you got a job. Like there, we've been growing together. And for me, it's a pleasure to see how you grow. And I really enjoy the conversations we have every week. It's frustrating too when I see that you have a challenge with health, with your dental, and that you have to wait so long to get a response because of an economic situation. So that just kind of gives us a sense of urgency, if you will, because we love and respect the people that are in our community. We can't or don't pretend to over pitch or sell or whatever what we can or can't do or over promise, but just give our best. And for those that appreciate our work and want to work with us, I think we go much further than expected. Yeah. Well, you're talking about the timing, right? And and the fact that people that are homeless don't have their time respected, right? So when you have someone in a program that's like, Andrew, I'm going to be late to our weekly meeting because it takes me 2 hours to shower. If it takes 2 hours to shower when it should take 10, 15 minutes max, or 20 if you like to hang out underneath hot or cold water, imagine how long it takes to do everything else. And that just slows down the process of getting back on your feet.
It's some people say, yeah, it's free service, but yeah, it's kind of hard to figure out. And one of my greatest obstacles in getting off the streets was figuring out which services were essential that I needed to make sure to get so that I could free up my time to go look for work, whether it be for a job or get a hustle on or whatever. Eh, mhm.
I believe your time is worth something. And if you're going to go and wait 4 hours or whatever, there's a cost of opportunity in which you can't do other things because you're sitting there and waiting. So obviously, the cost of doing or receiving the service or product is reduced for you, but they still have to take into consideration that you, as a human being and as a professional, have valued time, which I don't think really takes place, and which is what we work on improving.
We've got minimum wage, like here, I guess is 13.75.
Right?
Compensate the homeless for all of their time that you take up while still being able to offer them services.
Right? So I think that could be a reasonable way. And if you consider minimum wage is legal and no one should work for less, a human being, just because they're homeless does not make them less valuable. So I think the minimum wage would be a starting point, but it doesn't necessarily mean that their time is worth that. It could be worth a lot more depending on their knowledge and what they know. Just because they become homeless doesn't mean they don't have any value as a professional. It means they can't pay for rent.
With you, and you and I have actually talked about the housing first thing. So if you we were talking about how the original intent of housing first was to take people that were to be that still have the ability to be productive versus those that don't, so that they could actually have some form of baseline to be able to get back out and become productive citizens again. uh, can you tell us a little bit more about like what the original intent of housing first was and how it was meant to help the working man?
Of conversations and private conversations I've had with Samson Beres, who's the person that came up with it in New York City, it's not focused on the profile of individuals that we aim to support due to our capacity in homeless entrepreneur. It's focused on people at the bottom of the barrel that just really can't contribute because of extreme mental health issues, substance issues, and just um, they need a lot more support because it's so much more difficult for them to participate. So I think that's the biggest thing.
Yeah, well, wasn't it more intended for people that were going that had a higher likelihood of returning back to the workforce?
No,
We had that talk because that's what I was under the impression of is like.
right? So to understand the difference, housing first. You think about universal income, right? You know, it's like really focused on like the very bottom, if you will, instead of uh, empowering people, giving them a chance to show their talent. So just to understand the differences, assistance-based models like housing first for the most part, and basic universal income and all these things. The government will fine you if you don't do something, or they don't pay you a subsidy or whatever they're supposed to pay you, right? But in homeless entrepreneur, we can't do that, and we don't want to. The only thing that happens is you lose out on an opportunity. So psychologically, it's very different.
Um, what as far as like getting support along the road with this great walk that you're doing, who's sponsoring you? Like, how are like
I'll explain. So, Toby, Tuck asked, well, let's go this way so you can see. Tuck asked about sponsorship for the Great Walk. Let's turn it around so that way you can actually see. Okay. So give me 1 second. Sorry about that, Tuck. So this is a flag, right? And all these people here have donated and supported from companies, right? So you have anywhere from like PSV, which is the Dutch football club that won the National League this year. They're supporting us. They're actually receiving us at their stadium, which is amazing, at the Legends Lounge. And then you have other companies that are here anywhere, from an IT company to a vegan company to a hostel to a business school. You have many types of people that are here in companies, and then below you have individuals that have supported as well. So you see there's a mixture of private individuals and companies, and you even have a city hall like this one, right, which is the city hall of Eindhoven in Netherlands. So it's mainly companies, private individuals, and then we have some social entities that participate, and also some local government as well.
this was just we wanted to kind of to take get a good idea of what the Great Walk is, bring some awareness of it, bring some awareness to what it is that you're doing. I'll give you some final thoughts, and also how long have you been walking?
We were at 137 kilometers after 3 days. So the first day was 50 kilometers, which was quite long. Then it was 42 or 44 the second day, I think. And then yesterday it was 44. Today it's probably going to be about 43.
Total?
We're doing about 880 kilometers. So we joke because every day we walk 42 to 50 kilometers, which is more than a marathon. It represents 5% of our goal, right? So after walking 4 days, 4 marathons in Austria, we're at 20%. So at the end of the day, we're at 20% of our overall goal this month.
30 days to do it with rest days and everything, huh?
Yeah, we have the Heat Aid campaign, which are on the weekend, right? So we really don't have many rest days. Maybe like one when we travel, because we have 4 days during the week, so we can potentially have 1 day off when we travel, and then the weekend we have the Heat Aid campaign in Vienna, in Brussels, and Madrid, providing support to the homeless community. So it's quite intense. Toby's an amazing individual, and we're enjoying our time and really meeting stories. We had a conversation with Andres, who's Polish. He was in our program in 2016, and he had helped a homeless person there. He gave him some money, had a conversation, and he also explained that now he's gardening for a French diplomat. So, and that was from 2016, right? And now that's where he is today. So you just see that we've been working together a long time, and we're just trying to find a way to raise the funding. Our objective is 150,000, so that way we can help empower 300 people in 5 different countries within the next year.
For 300 people over 5.
For the most part.
Oh, okay. So it'll be about 1,500 people. Oh, wow. That's a lot. I mean, that means you get a bang for your buck. Usually it's like we need $1 million just for one person.
Estimated to cost 3,000 euros to end homelessness for one person in our program, right? So that's the sponsorship cost to help one person.
are you able to remain to keep that cost down and still remain effective?
Interns, more than 100 every year. We also have about 250 volunteers around the world, and then pro bono support and products, right? So our community really lowers that. When we first started, it was 10,000 euros per person. And we've worked really hard to bring the cost down as much as possible so that way we can help more people.
Any final thoughts you want to leave us with before we let you get back to your marathon?
For you, Tug, for everything that you're doing to progress and inspire others, and to the audience that's listening, that will listen, that have listened. And I just hope that you're successful with everything that you're doing with the YouTube channel and beyond that. And I just hope everyone supports you. And then that will also inspire others to see how someone like yourself has been able to rise up and improve their life and live the life they want, not what other people tell them that they need to do.
Being here. I will talk to you on our usual Mondays, and for all the rest of you guys, can you give us your website?
I don't know if you can see it. We'll go here. Back here. Homelessentrepreneur.org. If it's possible, please.
Homelessentrepreneur.org. Okay, I'll make sure to put it down in the description later on after the broadcast. But thank you for being here, and good luck on your walk, and we'll talk again.
Thanks a lot.
Thank you very much, Doug. Wonderful
Yeah, no worries,
day.
man. Have a good one.
Bye. Take care. Thank you.